Welcome everybody to MogTalk 122. Today's October 14th. And we have three wonderful guests here on the show to talk about 4.1. Let's go ahead and introduce the guest here first. I'm going to actually start with Larry. I do hear a little bit of feedback. I don't know who that's from. Who's doing that?
Probably me. 1 second.
Merri, you're horrible.
Is that fine?
All right, that's your introduction to Merri. Right there.
Hi.
Hi, Merri.
What do you hear now?
No, I think it's good now. I think it's good now. All right.
Okay.
You know what? Let's start with Larry. Larry. All right. How are you, dude? And tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I'm Larry. I make stupid videos. I stream. And I play this video game. That's it.
That's good. I think only you in this conversation could fit in that description.
Yes.
Definitely. It stands alone.
Oh shit, you're right. But that's my life.
That's who I am.
That's who I am.
Okay. Merri, tell everybody who you are.
I'm Merri. I'm smiling right now. You can't see it, but I'm Merri. I make YouTube stuff. Some of it's funny, some of it's not. Most of it's not. I also play Final Fantasy 14. Wow. Who would have thought?
Yeah, there's some sort of like coincidence here, I think. Like we all play that game.
That came out.
Yeah. Sometimes I stream it, you know, like almost
I heard
every
that game
weekday.
flopped.
Yeah, I heard it
Sometimes.
flopped real hard.
Yeah.
And I just never went back to it. All right. Drac, tell everybody who you are, dude.
I am Drac. I do stuff on the YouTubes as well and Twitch, and I too play Final Fantasy, and I make videos about my goofball raid team and how we suck at the game.
Oh, that was more specific. You did a good job.
Yeah, no. Although I still feel like you guys kind of fit in that same scope a little bit, unless you guys have really good raid groups. I don't know.
No.
I mean, I'm not going to toot our own horns.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, for everybody who hasn't watched MogTalk before, this is a show based around the Final Fantasy 14 community. And we discuss everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing to just news and information about the recent patch, which is 4.1. And today, that's going to be our complete topic. There's a lot of stuff that has been going on that I feel like needs to be discussed, or at least I want to discuss it with some people that might have an okay opinion about it, I think. Yeah, and so I got three people that I enjoy speaking with to come on the show today. Very gracious of you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Arigato.
Yeah. And I'm Frosty Mogborn, and I do a shitty podcast once a week. Sometimes I don't. And I'm doing my intro now. We all like put ourselves down in our intros so we can kind of be humbled, you know?
Yeah.
The humble cast.
That's totally the reason why. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right, guys. So, real quick, I just want to ask you, how much time have you guys invested into this new patch so far? A lot?
Much.
Too much?
That was my answer too. I was like, too much.
I haven't been able to. Got a lot of life stuff preparing for, but I've at least been able to play Shinryu, and I'm happy with that. And the 24-man. So I got to play the content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The important stuff. Yeah. No one does the main story quest anyway, so it's fine.
I don't want to cry. I hear it makes me cry.
Does it?
Oh, yeah. There's feels.
I guess.
A good story patch has feels. So
I don't know. I didn't feel anything. Maybe that's just because I'm heartless.
Nice.
terrible.
Yeah. There's one thing that we just got to get out of the way. I mean, it's been like the biggest topic. It's funny. There's so many cool things that came in this patch. So many nice little interesting things. But one thing just fucking stood out, man. It's that there was a housing crisis that happened. Did any of you guys get a house by any chance? Yeah, Larry?
I got one.
Merri?
I have a story about that, but you guys finish.
So I've had one for a few years now. So I didn't bother with the rush.
Okay. Drac, do you have a house in the game?
Yeah, in the game, we've had the Mist Mansion for a while. We wanted to move to Shirogane, but the servers didn't like that idea, so we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough, dude. I think that this was it was sad. I heard a lot of stories. People would come up and say, "I'm never gonna play the game again." because I couldn't get a house in in Weebland. And I was like, come on.
I can understand it's disappointing, but
That's
the
a
housing
lot.
thing, that's pretty superfluous for the game itself.
Yeah, I don't see. There's so many other things to this game. It was just so odd to me. And Merri, you're telling me a little bit about this too. I think when I was talking to you, right? Or maybe I'm confusing you with Athos. I don't know.
Oh my god!
I could see how you could do that.
No, like basically, when people pretty much said that that's all they cared about, and they're not going to pay a sub anymore because they couldn't get a house. It's kind of depressing. It's like this game has a little bit more substance than that. If this game was really just real estate wars, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be playing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I can understand people really wanting to do it because it is for a lot of people. Like some people just they have different goals in the game. Like it's not necessarily all about the end game or the PvP or whatever else. Like some people just have different end goals, and for a lot of people, housing potentially is one of those like big end goals. They like to decorate or whatever else. So I can understand being really disappointed, but like you said, this game has so much to offer that I feel like it's kind of a shame to let something like that ruin it for you.
In my mind, it's kind of a kick in the balls just for the server side of things. Like just that's continued to be an issue on that other games have shown that they can do it. And then it's just continuously, especially in Stormblood, that's the notorious Roban Extreme, Pippin Extreme, all those things that the servers were just not letting people do what they wanted in the game. So I can understand feeling burned by something smaller than a whole expansion release, not even letting people log in or kicking people out, or the launcher just crashing. So
That should not happen when housing is released, because so I think that they should have done instead of changing, without having to do all the other housing things that we could talk about too, but just to fix the patch day, what they should have done is like just have the housing release like an hour later, or have the servers go up and then the housing gets like unlocked like an hour later or a little bit later in the day.
A week later, just like
or even
servers are stable later. Now we do our next part of the patch,
because
and housing
patch it like you get login queues on patch day anyway. Yeah, of course there's going to be login queues on patch day plus housing release. So they should have spaced it out. It shouldn't have been at the same time.
And it was bad even before they went live, because if you're trying to pre-download the patch when you were able to do it, it was I had to go back in 10 times to re-put in my password to get it to start downloading again. It was obscene. And it was ridiculous. And I'm glad that we at least got a response to it. Right. And I think all the important notes were touched on. But I really don't want to see it be an issue again, or I'm going to be, I'll be more upset just at the principle of the matter. Right. Not just because, I didn't get a house. Like, we have a house. I can wait. Right. But just the fact that there was something that we wanted to aim for. There was that race. And then some people didn't even get to participate because lag or servers. That's the worst part. Like that. It's a horrible feeling just to be left out of that. So
Larry, tell us your story, your success story here.
Oh yeah. So when we were logging in right before, when the servers were just about to go live, like the last 2 or 3 minutes, I was on the login screen and I already logged in. I entered my password, and if you check the world status, it lets you refresh the login screen. So that's what we were doing. We were hitting me and Eva were both logging in at the same time, because we had a whole game plan where I was going to go to the Ward 8, and if that house was taken, she was going to another ward and I could ring to her. And then I could get the house there in case hers was open. So I had like a backup. So we were logging in, and this is where the server issues were taking place, was even just checking the world status and closing it was lagging because so many people were doing it. So I would basically at one point, the clock was at 59, and then I counted a few seconds. I went to go log in and I got it. And that would that second, I think it was the first 5 seconds that the servers went up. I got in. I didn't have a queue, but my character didn't load. And my character data wasn't loading, but I didn't have the queue. I logged in. My screen was just blue. And I logged into Shirogane, which I think is what helped a lot, was I actually logged out in Shirogane at the ferry skipper. I think a lot of people logged out in Kugane, and that probably like made it worse. So, but this was like the first like, 10, 15 seconds of the server going up. And I went to go check Ward 8 and it was taken. Ward 1 was taken, 2 was taken, 3 was taken. So I randomly clicked another one. I went to 10. 5 people were sprinting to this plot. I was going for plot 30. Like a bunch of people were sprinting to it. A ninja was Sukuchiing over. I turned around and I went to the subdivision and I got that one. And then I just played dead on the lawn because I wasn't breathing the whole time.
Wow.
I was so stressed.
When you were playing dead, I gotta ask this: did you have people come up to the house and was like just yelling at you, or like no,
they weren't yelling, but they were trying to buy it because what ended up happening was I played dead on the lawn, so the house wasn't constructed, so it just looked like a blank grass. And so a few people like walked up to try and buy it, and you could tell they were so confused. They were like, "Why can't I buy it? There's no house here."
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I was so stressed because I was getting it for the FC, and this is the case with a lot of people is they want to get it for the FC, and it's a lot of stress dealing with that, and because it's not just for yourself, it's for a bunch of people, and so it's even more of a letdown in that aspect if you couldn't get that, especially with the login queues. So I feel like the login thing should not have been something that was allowed to happen.
Okay.
Mainly.
And then there are issues that were beyond Square's control, where you have the stories of large free companies poaching all the houses.
Oh yeah. So I've already heard stories of people trying to flip houses.
Yeah, most of the houses or a lot of them are owned by just different members of one FC, and then they're just trying to sell them out to people, which is
So with that being said, do you guys think that they should be a little bit more limited on what players can do with the houses, like one house per account, or should they just limit it to just FCs at first and then open it up?
One per server at the very least per account.
Yeah,
it's it's just one of those things where if they were going to do, like, was it Knights of the Old Republic? I think it was like the Star Wars one or another online game, another MMO. They were anytime the plots filled up, it was another one was made, like another subdivision was made, and then
was it like this housing where it's like
I'm not entirely
open world thing?
I think it was. I would say it was instance, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay,
I'm not sure if we'll see if chat knows what the hell I'm talking about. But like things like that. So I wouldn't mind if they restricted it, because then there would be no point for people just to buy a whole bunch if there is an unlimited source. But since they do have a limited source, since their servers do have these limitations, they should be working around that, because assuming that people are just going to have this better nature in the game is
that's been the biggest downfall of Square Enix and a lot of their additions to the game, is that they expect good nature out of people. I don't know why.
I mean, it only takes a few assholes, a collective group of assholes, to ruin the entire experience for people. Like that's just the thing. So,
and there's something else that they said a long time ago that they could do, and they've yet to do it. And it's always something that's kind of been in the back of my mind. Like you said, all you had to do is flip a switch, and yet we still have an issue, and that is apartments. You guys remember when they said, when they added those, like, oh yeah, we can flip a switch and add more sections easily, but they haven't done that.
Are they full on your server?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm on Balmung, so.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Those are.
Mine's not full. I'm on Cactuar. Cactuar's pretty sizable, but it's not Balmung Gilgamesh size. But there's room for apartments in Shirogane, I think, still. But I think for the owning a house, one person should not be able to have multiple accounts and buy houses on the same server, multiple houses.
Well, so, it's hard to stop the multiple account part, for sure. Like the multiple.
I meant multiple character. I meant multiple character.
Yeah.
I meant that. So that's such a simple thing that they can fix. That
No,
I don't know
I
why
agree.
they just didn't.
Yeah.
I think that definitely should be implemented, especially if they want to make it to where I don't know why there's any reason why they're like, oh yeah, it's okay for someone to have multiple houses when they see that there's actually an issue out there. Okay. And so I'm kind of wondering why they didn't just understand that was going to be a problem.
Right.
I don't understand how that could be missed.
There's also a design choice for the housing, right? They made a decision and they're like, we want to have a ward where we can have a community, you know, like a neighborhood, and people can, you know, have open housing, and it's a world, and you can interact with your neighbors, and that's cool. Like, I definitely want that. That's a really cool part of the housing.
Yeah.
They also made a design choice to limit it and have it limited. So it's special that you own a house. So if they're going with this design choice of making it limited, they should make it more limited.
Yeah.
What would you guys think of them even being more expensive?
I think expensive. It's like I run with 2 million constantly, and that's all I ever have. So it's, I don't have money.
Yeah.
Because you still have the people that have like the hundreds of millions on their FC, like the ones that want to do the crafting and stuff. So the people who want to do that, or who are doing the poaching and all that stuff, are the ones who have this ridiculous amount of money. So it doesn't really matter to them.
And also, the big houses, it doesn't make sense that like one person should be able to buy that. It should be like FC houses. Like you have these huge houses for FCs, then you have the tiny small houses or medium houses for, you know, just individuals, right?
Yeah.
It seems kind of, well, or FCs are individuals. I mean, if you want to do either one, but it seems like having one person own a big house is kind of a waste.
That is silly. What do you guys think of even personal housing in the first point? Because my view is actually, I feel like this open ward with a neighborhood, I feel like that should only be allowed to FCs, actually, is my opinion. I don't think they should be allowed for single ownership. I don't think it helps the neighborhood aspect that they want.
Yeah. You're right. Because a lot of people will own a house, but they won't go there a lot. Like I own a house, a personal house. It's like I go there, but I don't really
hang
interact
around
with
there.
my neighbors. I don't see my neighbors ever.
And there's nothing to do really in the house that's not like all the house related stuff. All that content is in the free company, as far as I know, like airship and all that stuff. So I can see your point on that. Yeah. Like just having the neighborhoods, or even just like a different type of ward where you have like the free company house where it's more that militaristic or like a barracks style.
Yeah. It'll give you a reason to be around the FC members too, I guess. Like, I mean, that's where you want to hang out. You want to stay in your own house all the time. I guess that's kind of cool, but maybe you should just have an instance for it. You don't want to be around people. Why would you have a house next to a whole bunch of people unless you just want to show the middle finger to them? It's like, I got a house, you don't. I mean, that's that's the only situation I can think. I don't know. I feel like I agree that the housing should be a lot more limited, like you said, Larry, because otherwise it's too abused. The system's open to be abused, and there's some simple fixes, or at least I could imagine. I say this always as a non-programmer, but like I can't see there being any reason why they can't limit it by account or limit it by simple mechanics of how you would buy a house.
I think even if they do that, that should be done regardless. But even if they do that, it's still not going to be enough houses.
Yeah.
So, so what should they do for that?
I know.
What?
I have an idea of what they should do. So everyone's talking about this housing war, this Shirogane savage war.
Yeah.
What if when they release new wards, they enable PvP in them, and you have to slaughter everybody to claim?
I'd be okay with that. I'd be fine.
I think we talked about this before, Larry.
Yes. It would actually be fun.
It would be kind of fun in a sense.
It would
just
be
like
pretty fun, but
just battling for your house.
Yeah,
you'd have to bring a tank. The tank is the one that is on the plastered, like buying the house, and then you have dedicated healers healing them because the DPS are going to be trying to kill the tank so that they can buy the house.
Well, what if you got hit interrupted? So you had to clear out the competition.
You have skills.
You got to have a team of DPS along with you.
Tempered will or something, or Surecast. Make sure you can keep going.
Oh my god.
But no, in a more serious note, I feel like they just, at the end of the day, the simple answer, the real simple answer is they need to invest more into server infrastructure for housing. They need to look at, Daddy Square Enix, be like, listen, our members are really unhappy with this. Can we have a little more money so we can, get some more server infrastructure?
Can we keep some of the money we're making so we can?
That too.
Seriously.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We don't know how much that server space actually costs, but
yeah.
I feel like, what do we have? 13 wards? How many? 12?
Something like that.
12 or 13 wards. They could have more.
Yeah.
But
and they're going to have
what
more.
Else?
So they are introducing this. I mean, that is the solution, right? Yoshida came out and said, hey, we're going to introduce more wards coming up in 4.15?
And he said they're going to handle them differently, which is promising. It sounds like maybe they finally have an idea to help curb some of the issues.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, did they say handle differently? I didn't.
Yeah, Yoshi P said that it's not going to be purchased in the same way.
Maybe you have to have an account for a year or something. So there you go. Dedicated players can get houses. Everyone else can go screw off.
What do you guys think of, how we have the apartments? But I feel like most people, they get the apartment, but it's just it's nothing really. You don't get the housing mechanics. All you get is the decorating. You don't get the gardening and all that stuff. What do you guys
it's like a free company personal room. It's just kind of there for you to
same thing.
Mess around with.
Yeah. What do you think of in the apartments? You have, instead of it's a room, what if it's an instance little island, and it's the house, and you have a house on a little island
out in the sea.
And you can go out and swim around
the ocean,
kind of like that Dragon Ball Z guy that had a house with the palm trees. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
okay,
just that.
Personal
and then
island.
you have a whole house, and you get all the benefits of a house. And I don't think it would take too much more server space. It's 40 items and the house and whatever the world around it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you're not necessarily wrong. I feel like that wouldn't be too much more.
You don't get the neighborhood aspect.
Yeah.
But that's the exclusive part. Those are the exclusive ones.
Right.
The neighborhood aspect. But then you can have the instant single housing, which you're just on your little island by yourself.
Yeah.
And then you can get all the housing aspects.
Why not? Larry.
Or alternatively,
finding
a way to design a similar system, but one in which your house isn't necessarily active unless you're in it, so your instance doesn't get rendered unless you're in it.
Unless you
So it's not a constant strain on the server.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the apartments, I'm sure they work kind of like that.
I think so.
I'm sure it's just a little server space, and mine's just an empty room. It's not not doing anything in my apartment. So.
And they also said in chat it could be 4.2 when they bring that extra housing stuff in to the game, which is...
I think he said that, right?
I said 4.15.
They said by 4.2, I think. So
5 point, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Up until then.
One of those times. It could be tomorrow, guys.
Later.
Just sometime.
It could have been yesterday, but we don't even know yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Log in. Check the housing. All right. So I feel like at least he's dealing with that in a good manner, and I'm glad to hear that because it would suck if we had a lot of angry players and no response from developers. But since they got I think the time on the response was pretty quick.
It was a good one.
The response was good. I thought it was fairly thorough. It touched on all the points that people were upset about, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna try." And that's really all you can ask from them is to try.
Yeah.
There's no guaranteed answer. That's why we're speculating right now. That's why we're throwing around ideas. What would make the best option? It's just they've got to gamble with this. All right, we're gonna put all our eggs in this basket, and shit. Next idea, go, team, help,
get in our basket. Yeah.
Well, they had to acknowledge it, so it's good they acknowledged it.
Yeah. And they weren't the thing. The responses that irritate me is he does this sometimes. Is he'll come into the situation, he'll say, well, here's the issue, but you guys you're upset for no reason because of this, this, and this, and you don't know what you're talking about. And like,
Yeah.
he's had a couple of those
He
responses.
does things like that.
I can't fully blame him though for his position and just having to deal with the hordes of shit that people throw in
Oh,
his
yeah.
direction. Like, people just like, if he even looks on the official forums or on like, God forbid, the subreddit, and he's just like, "What are you talking about? This right here is what you should be looking at," and just.
Yeah.
No, I always think of that gif of the guy walking in with like the pizzas and there's just fire everywhere.
Yeah.
You guys need to calm down.
Yeah.
You need to calm down.
That's why, like when I talk about people criticizing, I want them to do it in a constructive way, so that when the developers look at it, they're like, "Oh, this is kind of what they expect. This is exactly what they don't like, and this is something we can go off of." Rather than people being like, "Just this sucks. This is stupid," and then all he has to say is, "You need to chill," because there's nothing to build off of that. Just pure rage. Like, it doesn't help anything. Like, I understand people being frustrated. People are paying for a service. They should get the service that they're expecting. You know, as long as they're not expecting wild shit to happen. Right. You know, things that were said to be expected. Then yeah, you can be frustrated. You can be upset. You can express that. But just to go off on these flaming, raging tangents towards the developers and Yoshi P and all these things, it's like, it's unjustified, and you're not helping anything. Right. So I really don't. I can't really blame, because even like as a streamer, you have people coming in and making these like questions.
Play this game.
That
Why are you doing this?
You've heard like 20 times over, and you're just like, just relax. And then the person's like, "What? I just asked one question." It's like, I've heard that question 100 times.
It's okay.
Why are you playing Cuphead right now?
Jack, what server are you on?
Jack, what server?
Are you playing Summoner anymore? Why'd you play Dragoon?
Why are you on Dragoon right now?
Why'd you quit Summoner?
Yeah. So Yoshi has a lot of shit to deal with.
No, I agree with that. And I think most of the time he's good with his responses. From what I've seen, there's just been a couple of times that I was like, "Come on, man."
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Come on.
It's okay. Just angle your camera, and then you can see under Xstats Cape. There's no issue with black holes spawning there.
We do not understand.
We haven't cleared the content yet, but
same with Bahamut. We don't just rotate your camera if he's too big. Well, they did fix that. So
they did.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like, if they come back with that, and we just put him back on the fire, and we're like, "No, you're completely wrong. This is stupid," with logical statements, then they'll change, what's in there, because they want to make us happy. In the end, that's the end goal, right? Because they make money from us being happy.
The Diadem 280 weapons. The outrage about that. Just had a calm down. It's not even an issue. Nobody even got one.
And no one will ever get one again.
Nobody will ever get. Nobody's going in there anymore. So
you got the things like, even with the white mage changes, that was a big thing. Like, where it was just pure speculation, and people were like, "This is going to ruin the game. It's dead."
Oh, that was just
like, now everyone's like, whatever.
But
like some people did, like you said, people gave logical.
The first issues were issues.
Yeah.
With White Mage, you were talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they fixed it before it came out.
Well, it's like, that's where some people were upset about it, but they provided that like logic and the reasoning behind why they believed it was going to be a bad idea. But then you had the people that just heard, "Oh, it's a bad idea. It's horrible. It's going to die." And it's just like,
you guys don't even play this game.
Jumping on the bandwagon.
It's like, just calm down, try it, and then give us the criticisms off, because this is what we think it's going to do. I know what you guys think. So it's like, it's a two different mindsets. The development team does not match with the player base almost on anything, because Ninja, we found out how to play Ninja better than the development team, so they had to nerf it when that came out.
We like Ninja.
We didn't play Machinist or Bard the way that they wanted to, so they had to buff it. Because that's one of the answers where I was rolling my eyes at Yoshi P. Is like, well, just learn to play it better. Like, you're just not playing it right. It's like, we have no guides on how to do this. You have nothing for us. So how are we supposed to do it? Figure it out. It's like, okay, dude.
I'm okay with that. I had fun with Machinist when it first came out, man. I had no issues with it, but that's because I was okay doing low DPS.
Machinist confuses me. I jumped it to 60 the other day because I'm lazy. And I just wanted to have everything at 60. because it was the only one. I had it at 30 too, and I tried. I jumped at 60. I was reading all the skills, and I was just like, "This is. I have 1, 2, 3. Is that it? Is everything else just affects these 1, 2, 3? I think that was the gist of it, right?
You just fake it till you make it, dude.
Yeah. That's machinist. I don't understand.
Okay. Enough housing. We'll get off housing now. I do want to get into the topics that you guys are the most interested about. And I kind of want to see what stood out the most to you first. And I'm going to ask Merri here. Merri, what made you a Merri individual in this content with 4.1?
Well, I mean, as far as it goes, Shinryu.
Okay.
That was about it. And he's awesome. I love it. It's an amazing fight.
Yeah, so that fight in particular has gotten a lot of praise for being kind of close to Thornton. Would you guys kind of agree with that?
No,
he's easier. He's way easier.
Okay.
I would say like tiers easier than Thornton. When Thornton came out, it was like a third tier raid when Thornton came out.
Yeah. It's pretty intense.
Shinryu does have the same kind of theme of like just a shit ton of mechanics he throws at you at the same time, which is kind of what Thornton did.
Yeah.
So, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is why I like Thornton.
I feel like none of them are particularly difficult. The real issue with Shinryu is there's just so much damage going on.
Yeah.
That's really all there is to it. Like, it's mostly just kind of almost like a heal check the entire fight. Yeah.
Healers should be good.
And it has that one really cool mechanic, which when I was reading about it, and then we saw it in the fight with the 4 dragon heads, and you got to heal them to kill them. That's the coolest mechanic ever.
Yeah,
I guess
there's a lot of cool new stuff in there.
It's interesting. Yeah, not ever. I wouldn't say ever, Larry. I think you're going a little overboard.
I'm easily excited.
Listen, you think that's better than the phase transition?
The
phase
Where
transition.
he's like, come at me.
Oh yeah.
I need to get back there. That's where we stopped. I'm sad.
So
I had no idea. Like, going in, I was blind, so I didn't know what that was, and then we got there, and it's like, this is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
on the Dargan.
The interesting thing about that fight too, just like aesthetically, I guess, is that this guy's big. It's a huge dragon, right?
Yeah.
And so you look at that, his hitbox takes up half the arena. And at the end of the fight, it takes up the entire arena.
Oh yeah. You get the final phase, you're like, this dude is really big.
You can pretty much go anywhere. And I mean, so it makes the fight feel kind of interesting just by that. And the fact that you can move him around, even though he takes up like the whole arena, makes it kind of nice. Yeah.
He does little waddles if you try and move him too far. He's like...
I need somebody to make a gif of that. Larry going...
I felt like that was pretty interesting because they made it feel like a dragon fight. Like, it felt like, holy crap, I'm fighting something that's pretty big.
I approve of that. It's good dragon fight.
Yeah, good dragon.
I like dragon fights. So.
And the other fact is that, like, as soon as everybody kind of had this fight from 4.0, the normal mode, they're like, this is a cool fight. This is great. It feels great. I want an extreme version. Then there you go. It's the next extreme that we have. I don't know if that was planned before anyone said anything. I would have to say so.
Because it did with Thornton.
Thornton was just like that.
Yeah. And so I think that's awesome that they put the work into it. And they gave everyone a taste of something. They're like, oh, this is really cool. And they knew exactly what they had to do to satisfy them before they even released the content. Like, here's normal mode. I know you guys are going to want extreme, and that's the next one. And so it's pretty cool to see that progression.
Well, as a fight, it's so iconic as well. Same as the Thornton one for Heaven's Word, where you're fighting this huge antagonist that's been just plaguing the story thus far that you've been introduced to. And so even just from a lore standpoint, it's like that fight is owed that recognition because of the amount of gravity around that situation, around that fight. This
game does that so well.
The nostalgia factor of it too is like,
this game is built off nostalgia.
That's
what this game is. So the other thing with that is that wasn't Thornton like in the same patch, normal and extreme in the same patch?
No,
it was separate.
Yeah,
It
we got
was
Thornton after.
4.2. No, 3.2 was Thornton.
Was it?
I think it was a patch later than
3.1.
Yeah, I don't.
Probably.
I don't.
It was 0.1. Yeah, because the first two primals were in 3.0, and then the next one was Thornton, and that was 3.1, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
we had Sephiroth.
Yeah, because I remember doing Thornton because my group didn't have A3 down, so we did Thornton first because the weapon was so freaking awesome.
For some reason, I thought the normal mode and the extreme mode was released on the same patch, though, wasn't it?
No, the normal mode was the finish to 3.0 story.
Really?
Yeah.
How am I forgetting this?
We just had Ravana and Bismarck.
That's true.
Yeah, 3.0 had just Ravana, Bismarck, Big Mac, and Thornton normal was the end of the 3.0 story, the very last thing.
Okay. All right. So they did pretty much the same thing.
Same kind of formula, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
But I think this difficulty was much better than Thornton's difficulty. 'Cause this difficulty, like my raid group, we pretty much you could get it down to like 2 or 3 lockouts,
right.
which is I think is like a really good difficulty level
Yeah.
for like normal player base. Is good.
I think that's exactly how it should turn out. I mean, when Ramu came out way back in the day, that took like a week for my group to get through. Just couldn't get the lightning down for some reason, and the timing. The pushes.
Ramu was hard.
Yeah. It was
I love that fight. That was a good fight.
Yeah, that was super solid. And so we have this extreme that came out. Everyone's kind of happy with it. No one needs the weapon anymore, really. Who needs the weapon?
Yeah, it's not.
No.
New players,
That's
maybe.
the thing. Like they were
It's good for
talking
all.
about, like it's going to help you kill O3. I don't think so because the 330 and the 335. I don't think it's even weapon damage, right? You don't even get weapon damage.
Maybe.
I think
Casters,
somebody was
casters
saying
get
maybe
+1. I know casters definitely get +1. I think everybody else doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
But, I mean, you can get the
I'd have to-
340 without clearing any of
to
the.
get O3 because that's what he was talking about. He was like Yoshi was like,
Yeah.
Shirniyu is here so that it could help you kill O3.
Yeah.
But I think
guess-
it's about the same as a 330 weapon anyway.
It's not too big of a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow! But I mean, I'm glad they introduced it. I'm glad they satisfied everybody's wants with that fight. It is definitely an interesting fight. I don't know if there's anything more to really say about it because I think everyone's just happy. Like, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I was like reading the chat as we talk about this, and we're like, "Oh, I love the mechanics and all that stuff." And then you see the discuss. It's like, pick that healer main. Like, try and guess who in the chat is a healer main by their express disgust with certain fights.
Oh, jeez. Hey,
Like, of course you
04S
would
is
think it's
horrible.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. I beat 04S the other night, by the way.
Hey, congrats, dude.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I casually made my way through. Once or twice a week we would progress on it sucks progging once or twice a week because you spend like half a night just going through
1
the
to
content
3.
clearing. Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
have that limited amount of time to actually do any prog.
That's what we do too. We only have one night, so
it
it's
was
too much.
and then I can only make half my raids. So at this point, this is like the last tier that I'm actually doing a static. I'm not going to be in a static anymore next tier.
Yeah,
I just can't do it.
You'll actually like it. I took a break for a long time too. It was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, me
Then
too.
you want to get back to raiding. Like,
I mean, I can.
That's right.
The thing is, like,
casually raid.
I'm unreliable. My work will say, "Oh, you have to work all day on your raid day," and there's nothing you can do about it. And
Yeah.
so that sucks,
Yeah.
especially for a casual raid.
Damn you IRL.
Yeah, damn, needing money to survive. So yeah, no, it's been it's a sad trip because I've been with this group for about 3 years now, and I've been leading it for about 3 years. But
That's sad.
yeah, but it's okay. It's all right. We got Super Savage coming up, and I'll just pug through it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure it's puggable. I'm sure it'll work out.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I hope it's so bad that a group doesn't clear it for at least a week. At least a week, right?
I think it's gonna be cleared in the first week,
Yeah.
but I hope it's not. But I think it will be.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like, the players are good. And since it's not a gear check, it's only player skill, they're going to get it down relatively quickly.
Yeah.
It's true.
Exactly. Because usually, like when you talk about like world first predictions, you're like, okay, well, how much gear do they need to clear it?
Yeah.
You think about like, okay, maybe they need the upgrade from next week, so it'll be cleared in the second week. But in this case, they already have the gear. It's 340, so
they're gonna have to throw a mech out there that they just have to figure out. They have to throw some really complicated puzzles out there. I mean, that's the only way to understand it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We already know all the mechanics from 5, 9, and 13, so they gotta like
mash them together. I mean, they can do some really difficult stuff. Like right off the bat, we saw there's one that's just already kind of fun. You know, twisters and fireball at the same time. So, which
is gonna be really interesting with a whole group because it like I made a video about it and people were like, "Oh, that's so simple." I'm like, yeah, with one guy, it's gonna be so complicated with 8 people there in the very first 5 seconds. And,
yeah. I mean, make it really random. Throw a whole bunch of mechanics out at the same time, and also make it to where everyone has to execute all of these mechanics perfectly and do the topmost DPS possible in order to clear it. And then that extends the length of it.
That's what it sounds like it's going to be. So it's probably going to be rough.
So excited.
We'll see.
I don't know what to expect because I did Second Coil Savage, which I think was the only tier that I didn't do was the middle tier in Alexander. So
me too.
I've done all the tiers. Yeah, I didn't. That's when I took a break from raiding, but I did all the other tiers when they were current, and I think Second Coil Savage was the hardest out of all of them.
Oh yeah, by far.
If it's harder than that,
Turn 8, Turn 7 Savage were amazing fights.
I love those.
Yeah.
If it's harder than that, like,
then there you go. You got something you like.
Oh boy.
Okay, Larry, tell me something else. Like, you're doing this content. What else is like, holy crap, it stood out to me?
Squadrons, my favorite part of the content.
Okay, you got to tell me about Squadrons, because I haven't really done too much with them yet. But I know a lot of people have said some stuff like they're really dumb at first, but then you build on their AI.
No, they're stupid the whole time.
Oh, okay.
No, their AI doesn't get better; they just get stronger.
Okay.
Yeah, the AI is the same. They're kind of stupid. I wanted to just get the emotes really fast. The push-up emote, my favorite thing. It's great, and the squats. Because when you use /squats in chat, it says "feel the burn." So if you target somebody, I was like targeting shooting you. It's like you feel the burn before shooting you. Yeah, feel the burst. But,
burst, dude.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Good.
But so I wanted to get those right away. So you got to do the 10 dungeons, and I was playing around with compositions, and I found that Archer was really strong because their barrage gets reset when you mash the attack button. So they just have barrage every other GCD.
Nice.
Which is cheating. But so I have 2 archers, and I was going in as tank, but I think if you go in as healer, it's faster. But I was going in as a tank.
Me too.
And my healer was stupid. I was doing Brave Flocks. Which dungeon did you do, Merri?
I did Stone Vigil.
I heard that one was fast.
Yeah.
I was doing Brave Flocks, and on the second boss, without fail, the freaking white mage, I forget her name, it starts with a C.
Cecily?
Yeah, her. She's dumb. She would get locked out. We would go into the boss, and I would wait for her, and she would walk into the boss arena, and then I would pull the boss, and I'd turn my camera, and all of a sudden she's locked out.
Yeah, I had the same issue.
Why?
That's horrible.
But yeah.
All right. So there's no AI building. It's just you level up.
No,
they get stronger.
Yeah, the AI is the same, but they get stronger.
Okay. All right.
It's cool. It's a fun thing to play around with, and the archers are broken, so you just use those.
Yeah.
And I kind of just did it to get the emotes, and then I stopped.
Speaking of the emotes, so when I do MogTalk, I kind of go into your Twitch channels, and I'm pulling clips and videos and everything, and I'm like, there's some clips in here. Let me check Merri. And so I'm going through some of Merri's clips, and one of them is just him sitting there, like, looking at one of his squadron members. He's like, should I do it? Should I do it? And he just goes, he does the push-up emote where his head goes straight between her legs. He's like, okay, I'm done. I'm gone. I was like, Merri. Merri.
Chat was goading me on, man.
Oh no.
That was a clip.
I put them all in maid outfits too.
Mine are all
Have
ghosts.
waifu squad.
That's a good choice. Mine are all spoopy ghosts.
Oh, jeez. You can tell what kind of player you are by what you make people who
What you
aren't really
drive your
people, your
squad.
NPCs do. For example, there's a guy, Foldosaurus Rex. He got a house and he made his retainers maids, and he made sure they would bend down, but he flipped them around, so every time he talks to them, they bend down in front of him. Like, this guy just got a house in front of me, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So,
I need an adult.
Drac. So the other thing that I'm gonna guess that the other thing that you would say was a good focus for you was the 24-man. Is that right? I guess that right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So the 24-man, Drac, what'd you think about that, dude? So
it was really fun to figure out with people. You know, you still have the people who go in there and expect everybody to do it well, so you wipe once and people are like, vote abandoned.
yeah.
Fortunately, our group hung in there a little bit more than somebody DC'd, and then everybody, like 2 or 3 more people left. And they were DPS, so it's like, who's going to join in progress for this right now? So we all had to leave.
Yeah.
And then I did it the next day. But I thought it was a lot of fun. I really wish I played Final Fantasy 12 all the way through so that I would get more of it. But I at least played Tactics Advanced, so I know some of that style. I know kind of the work and all that stuff. So I got to see the...
It's funny you said that. Sorry, because I was thinking about that too. I played just Tactics, the War of the Lions. Right, that's the one that I played, the original Tactics. And I didn't play 12 really, and I didn't play. I played Advanced. I think I played Advanced. I didn't really have a lot to relate there, I think. But I didn't feel. I felt like I got most of the reference just by playing the original Tactics. I don't know if anything.
I didn't play either of them.
I started playing War Lions and then I got sidetracked, and then I just never finished it. It seems like I enjoy the tactics style.
Yeah.
That Fire Emblem, all that stuff is the games I enjoy. But just the references in there, like you could just see some of the nuances and the differences in how the story was playing out, and you just had a different feel than the other 24-mans had. Where I don't know, like just the previous 24-mans, I didn't get as much of a vibe from. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, okay, we're going in, we're fighting these monsters, whatever, and then we're at the last boss. Whereas like the entire thing of Rabanastre was you're in this world, like you're just surrounded by, like, I don't know, it felt a lot more immersive, I guess. Like you were really a part of what was going on. So I enjoyed the aesthetic, I enjoyed the lore, and the fights and the music were really cool when I could listen to them.
Good.
As somebody who didn't play the games, it felt like Uncharted to me. Is what it felt like.
Okay.
Because like you're going into like an old abandoned city, and then you go into the water thing, and then you see this. It opens up to this crazy civilization thing. I don't even know what it was, but it felt like Uncharted to me.
Masalia, dude.
I don't know the games. I'm sorry.
I think the big thing with it was the music. Like the music was so, because they just ripped it right out of fucking Tactics, and it's just like that's the nostalgia, it's just
man.
Music.
That's
and it. I think that's a big part of why it felt so immersive. It's because the music was it was perfect. It just brought you into that world. It pulled you out of 14 for just a little bit.
Yeah. The interesting part, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about the storytelling that they're doing right now of this game, but something that you said earlier, Drac, was that you didn't feel like that connected to the other 24-mans, which is kind of interesting because the other 24-mans in A Realm Reborn, that all related to the main story, completely 100% the main story, because you have like all the old ancient stuff of this world, and they're trying to do this world building thing that you're trying to get more focused with, I guess. I don't know.
Elegance.
Yeah, elegance. And then in the Heavensward one, they kind of had, it felt like sort of related to the elegance, but they went in this whole like demon aspect where they were following around Diablos the entire time.
More like Maki, where
that was like black mage, white mage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one, it's just more like just how I felt going through it. Like I really enjoyed the Crystal Tower and all that stuff. That did have a good feel to it. It's just you're taking to some place like completely new, so it was like that new feeling, like you're just getting to explore this new part of the world.
Okay.
Kind of similarly to like getting the new areas.
Right.
It was still that whole new area, whereas we're kind of used to the Allegan technology. We've seen it in Coil and stuff like that, so you see more or less the same stuff. I don't know. Just for me, it's that kind of, maybe I just have a soft spot for desert themed things.
I guess so, right? Yeah.
That's why it felt like Uncharted to me.
Yeah,
It's so different.
But yeah, like not to criticize the stuff. It's just like Void Ark was. I like the bosses. I love the end bosses and the story of it. As soon as you got to, was it the sun? It was where you the last one. I keep forgetting the name of it. Dunscape, yeah. That city, like where that felt dark. That felt like that ominous presence. You felt
that one had a really nice feel and setting to it.
Like Kingdom Hearts meets Bloodborne kind of a thing, where you just have this stark contrast of these things, which makes that kind of unnerving, but at the same time, like really cool.
I think it's because you were exploring like a city, this whole other world. So
it's very interesting. I would say I kind of agree with you now that you said that, is that you are going to a new area. This is an area we haven't been to. We're not on a ship, or we're not on something that we've seen before. This is like a whole new universe that they're just throwing into the game, and they brought the people who are involved with that universe into the development of it. And so that did feel pretty good. I gotta say, I think my group wiped on every boss at least once. When I did it.
No. My group didn't wipe on 3 and 4. Those were, I think. What do you guys think of the difficulty of all of them?
I think 2 was a little too difficult for like
random people.
Two, I was gonna ask, were you guys like, is 2 the hardest one for you?
Oh, by far.
2 was the hardest one for our group.
When I'm thinking about it, it was not that difficult. I will say, like, going into it, I didn't know I was fighting a boss on the first boss. I was just like thinking, oh, there's trash. All right, let me go in here and do trash. I didn't even wait for people. I was just like, go in here, and I pulled the boss. It's like, let's go in here. Let's do it, man. Let's kill this stuff. And then I'm like, wow, this is taking really long for a trash pool. There's a lot of mechanics in
the
here.
first boss, I thought it was trash at first because it tricks you, because there's the boss, but then there's some little tiny ads there, and you're like, oh, it's trash pool. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's a boss.
Yeah, and it turns to a fight, and I kind of understood what was going on. I was like, I got this water effect. He's doing stuff that might freeze me, maybe.
You turn frosty.
I was so confused. I was so confused in the first boss. The second one was just like chaos. Like, we're just dying left and right.
On the first boss, when it dropped the Blizzard 3 thing, and I saw it tethered to people, and it was casting, we were like, what is this going to do? And the cast went off, because, of course, nobody killed it. And then we all turned into snowmen. This is so fun.
I did not see that happen. I wish I did. Everyone was able to kill it. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't turn. You would have been extra frosty.
I would have been super content. I would make sure that I tricked them and say, please don't kill the Blizzard Stones and let them go off, because this heals us or something. This protects us from the next mechanic. It's a trick, guys.
Nobody ever kills ads the first time.
Why? And it's like, you should probably do that, because that's usually really bad.
I think what happens is they get zoomed in, right? So they see the boss and they're like, I'm gonna kill the boss, and they just focus on the boss, and they're like, other things are happening. They're like, well, I hope someone else understands what's going on. I'm just gonna keep hitting this boss, and that's what they do. I think that's,
I don't understand that mentality though, because every fight in the game, if there's an ad, go kill it.
Yeah, it's true.
That should be your first instinct.
That's raiding 101, but you know, people who do 24-man don't always raid. Sometimes they're the people who send the emails about the haircuts.
I'm asking too much. You're right.
I wish, you know what? I wish, you know, we were talking about that whole calm down thing earlier. I wish when people went off really crazy about cosmetics and haircuts and everything, Yoshida would come in and just say, calm down, guys. It's just a haircut. I just want to hear him say it one time. I know it's like people, they care about this. It matters a lot to people, but instead of saying it towards rating, I wish he would just say calm down.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, speaking of, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, just that we're getting discriminated against. It's like all these people
give
who
them
have like
some heat.
the ridiculous requests and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there's been a lot of demand for this. We're thinking about putting it into the game, and then Raiders like, give us this. Chill out. Just try and do it the way we think you should do it, and then come back to us, okay? Now fuck off.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
About this new hairstyle.
Fuck off.
Speaking of hairstyles, have you guys seen the bun hairstyle
With the side
on
buns, the
Makote? Yes.
Yeah.
There's an
Put
entire
that on, it's the
one on
cutest
Makote,
thing.
Frosty.
Makote, they have their ears, then they put the bunny ears on too, right? And then they put the buns on it. So
On
they
the
have
side of their head, yeah.
So they look completely ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
No, I think Makotes are lame. I mean, past that point, everybody's a Makote. Oh, I gotta be a Makote girl, and that's like 90% of the population.
It is.
I just, Larry, you just messed up all the video.
Did I? Did I?
You just,
Am I Drac now?
You're Drac now.
Drac is
Larry's.
Larry.
Oh,
It's
What
perfect.
happened?
It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
fine, it's fine.
No, no, no.
I'm sorry.
I just pissed off most of the population too, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So that being said, sorry, we're going back to this 24-man here.
Yeah.
I do want to say when I entered in, like the first boss, I was like, I really didn't know this was going to be a boss, and then the second boss, I was like, whoa, this guy looks like a boss I want to fight. Like he has these wings and these giant hammers for arms or something. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
My chat said he was a daddy.
He was a daddy. What?
Wait, what's his name? What's his name?
Hashmal.
Yeah, they called him Hashmal Daddy.
Hashmal.
I was like, who's this guy? And they were like, he's Hashmal Daddy. I'm like,
what?
They're ruining the daddy meme.
I don't know.
Everybody's daddy nowadays.
Yeah.
Because he's big and strong, I guess. Oh.
Man, like, I don't know. I saw him and I thought that this guy was going to be a fun fight, and he was a fun fight. I thought it was pretty awesome. He shot towers up. Did you see anyone stand in the spot where the towers, does it
Of
shoot?
course.
Does
I
it
thought
shoot
about
them in
that.
the
It just-
air?
No, it just knocks you back. I had the same thought because at one point I was standing on one when it spawned and I lifted up a little bit and I was like, is this going to throw me in the air? And it's like, no, it just knocks you back.
I was hoping for it, man, because I've been
Yeah,
dying
me
for that
too.
mechanic for where they get stuff that just throws you up instead of dropping you off the edge. You get shot up and into like a
Yeah.
ceiling and die or something. Like that,
That
would
would
be
be cool.
amazing.
People just
Yeah.
hanging, dangling from the ceiling.
With spikes up
Speaking
there.
of the tower, the falling tower mechanic is really cool.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
You know why it's cool? Because it's fun. Because you know someone's gonna die, and you can just
Yeah.
sit there and watch it.
You squished.
Just don't stand in the shadow. You're fine.
It's pretty easy to figure out. Like, oh, we shouldn't stand here. This is where I need to stand to be safe. But people tunnel.
It gives you enough
And
time.
it's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, I think the reason why the fight is so difficult is because there's almost no AoE markers for any of that stuff,
Which is good.
which is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And why people still stand in front of the boss with the tank to get cleaved by that attack.
Cleaves so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like to
man, I
sit
got
there,
a
I'm like,
story about that.
Oh, I'm so ready. Watch him die. Yeah, go ahead.
I got a story about that. Oof. So I was running it a couple, like I think 2 days ago, and both of the other tanks just like couldn't cut it. Like they were just dying and they weren't handling it. And then I was like, all right, I'll tank. It's fine. And so I started tanking, and I do what most tanks do, where if the boss turns, you move in front of the boss and you keep him where he's facing, because it's easier for the melee DPS to not have to constantly be running around trying to get to positionals and so on and so forth. And people adjust. Healers will get out of the way if they're standing in front of the boss. And so I'm standing there and I'm tanking him, and he spins because of mechanics, and I move and I keep him there, and everyone else moves except these two healers. And they just stand there, and they're standing there, and they're standing there for like 15 seconds. And then the cleaves come, and I'm like, they're going to die. And they just die. And then they just start railing me like, what are you doing? You're spinning them around. You're awful tank. I'm like, I'm sorry. You had like 20 seconds to get out of the way.
Yeah.
This is how you tank.
Yeah.
Whatever you
most
did killed
efficient
me.
way.
It's not my fault. I paid attention to health bars. That's all I do.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Yeah.
Whack-a-mole. I don't have to do mechanics.
But
It
that
is
was
like
fun.
whack-a-mole.
They spent the rest of the run just like
Yeah.
just railing me, and it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. I usually when I do runs, I try to at least I'm like everyone in the alliance, hey guys, I'm new. I haven't played a game before. And I just like make them think that I'm the worst player in the world. So they don't say anything. They're just like, Okay, I guess it kind of just sucks. And so when I mess up the mechanics and everything, and it works pretty well. It worked when
Works
I did
good.
it. Yeah. And the sad thing is I don't need any of the gear from this this raid. I don't need anything from it. There's nothing that I can really get that will make me be like, oh my god, I have to do this. Except for I think they give cards and songs. Does it drop like a minion at the end? Like, is it a rare drop?
I never seen a minion. I'm sure it does though.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen one. Definitely 3 songs, 2 cards.
Yeah. 3 songs, 2
well,
cards.
They're both the same card, but
Yeah.
Are they? I thought I saw 2 different cards.
No, there are 2
maybe.
different cards. Yeah.
Oh, is it 2? Okay.
There's a 4-star and a 3-star. Although I haven't played Triple
different
Triad in
songs.
years, but
Yeah. Okay.
The songs suffer quite a bit still. This is whenever a new 24-man comes out, you always get that stuff and then you sell it right away because eventually they become worthless.
Yeah,
Yes.
I used one and I regret it. It's like, I should have sold it.
Should have.
I used mine. I was like, screw it. Although I think
I think
didn't
it's
get
like
any.
400K or
story.
something like that on my server.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
it's a little bit. Yeah.
But I mean, for that entire fight, I feel like that second boss was definitely the highlight for me. The third boss, it was the chariot, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, he
the
has some
only
cool
thing
mechanics.
the interesting thing is that figure 8
Yeah.
one where
Yeah, that was
love
cool.
that.
you only take the damage when he hits you,
Yeah.
which is so cool.
That's like, well done. Like, holy crap, this is how I want all mechanics to work. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's the only one in the entire game that does that.
yeah, it matches with the visual effect there. Yeah, it's funny as you say that. I was raiding one time and had some friends who never played Final Fantasy, and we were doing A3S. He's like, "You just totally stood in there." I was like, "Yeah, but the line's not there anymore, so it doesn't matter."
They did that in A12
Yeah,
with Royal or Holy, whatever the hell, the lasers from Alexander. Those were.
Were you talking about like
Telegraph.
dodging something, but you go back in there and the animation goes off and it doesn't hit you? You're talking about like
Yeah,
that?
you can't do that in Alexander, basically.
Right.
With his lasers.
Yeah. So you got to know, like, it's one of those. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like
one of
there's so few of them, but
yeah,
when they exist, it's like, don't cheese this one because it's still
Yeah.
gonna hit you.
yeah, it's one of those damage on visual ones.
Yeah.
which is why I'm glad when they removed those telegraphs or what do you call them? Telegraph.
Yeah, I mean that's
telegraph?
basically
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
AoE circle, telegraph.
When
Yeah,
they remove
telegraph.
those, then you feel better about it. You're like, hey, I need to avoid the
And
animation.
Yeah, but then it goes by the cast bar, and then you're like, okay, is it one of those where I
But you
take the
don't-
down when the cast bar is done?
Yeah.
But most players won't do that unless if you're a good player. And I'm not saying there's a lot of good players
Right,
in the
yeah.
game that pay attention to these things.
Oh yeah, for 24 mans, yes.
24
yeah.
mans, yeah. So
Yeah.
you can work with the visuals on that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's better that it's like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
The third boss, again, the chariot thing was kind of cool. I mean, both of this and the second boss had things that you just had to kill. You're timed on it. Which was good, but for some reason, every single fight, they can't kill the time stuff. They can't get the...
Yeah, one alliance struggles always, it feels like.
yeah.
And then
What
you're like, all right, we'll send
the
someone.
3 meteor things like in World of Darkness?
Mm-hmm.
That thing? Yeah.
It's tough, man. I mean...
That fight was kind of meh for me, the third fight. I thought it was kind of boring. Like, there's some cool mechanics, but I thought, like, compared to the other...
Yeah, he was
ones-
definitely a little tame.
I ran that with Tate, and so we get in there now. Because of what he said, I can only think of the third boss as where I'm like, what's wrong with his the horse's feet? Why are they little sighting? And Tate's like, Drat, come on, he's in a wheelchair. Making fun of him. I'm just like, I had nothing to come back to that. So now I just think of it as the wheelchair boss.
He's disabled, Drac. You can't make fun of him.
I didn't even think that. I was just like, chariot. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He put that in his video, and I just look at it again. I'm like, that's not what. No, he's not.
No!
You're making fun of disabled people?
Stop making me feel bad.
It was fantastic.
But then when we come up to this fourth boss, I think the most interesting thing that stood out to it is the white and black, that
That was
animations.
interesting.
It's just like,
I
hey,
had no idea the
Yeah.
first few times. It's like, what the hell is this?
I just kept failing it over and over again. I was just
Yeah.
like, what the? Is this one look away and stop moving? Is this one keep moving while looking at him? No, okay, maybe it's not that. Okay, it's get away from people. But then what do the face colors do? I don't.
yeah. The angel demon thing that they were doing was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool mechanic.
And I'm glad they introduced it because I wish they would do more stuff like that. I wish it would scream at you too. Like just pop up. And
No.
really spoopy.
No.
You gotta
I
put on
don't
the
want
Japanese
that.
voices. He's very vocal.
Oh yeah.
Japanese VO.
I have him. I have Japanese too, like a proper weeb, but his voice is really awesome.
Yeah, when he does Dark Ultima. Yeah.
Yeah, his voice is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like the English one was fine. It felt pretty good. But I mean,
It's not a proper weeb for us.
I guess not. Maybe I just like understanding things.
I don't
text
know.
on the screen.
I don't. His voice sounds cool. It actually, is the English one? The Japanese one sounds a lot like Thornton, but like a little higher pitched.
I think the
Is
English is
one
just
like that.
I don't know, higher pitched. I think it's just normal. I just felt like a dark, deep voice. That's all I felt like to me.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. He talks a lot less with the English VO.
Oh, really?
I've tried both, and like he says a lot less stuff.
Drac has an
likes
example of
talking.
what it sounds like. Drac, can you
Oh, I don't know if I can, because I wasn't listening to the voice very much. Let's see, do you know one of his lines?
I would listen in Japanese. You got to speak Japanese.
Do you know
Domo
one of his
arigato.
lines in Japanese? Like a true weeb.
Dark Ultima.
Does he just yell Dark Ultima? Like really cool? Yeah.
Yeah, but like
Dark
Japanese.
Ultima.
Dark Ultima.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, he says maggot. That's right. He says maggot in there.
Does he?
Yeah. At the very end. I forgot what's in it.
yeah. That's a
So
little
you
bit.
did it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Close enough.
There you go. We got it.
Yeah.
I mean, to sum up this whole 24-man thing, like I feel like this was good. I was kind of hesitant to doing it because when I think about the 24-man, especially in the first week, I'm thinking about an hour and a half of time
Yeah.
that I'm going through and hoping that it works out. If they don't disband before the like fourth boss or something, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's usually over an hour.
Yeah, and so it was kind of rough going through time, but I had fun. I mean, I turned the music on. I was listening to music, going through the entire thing, and it felt like I was absorbed into it. Although I gotta say, the story in general, it was okay. It was interesting, but it was kind of they were just redoing the tactic story. I think that's what it felt like. They were kind of just going through that again, and that boat. Holy crap. This giant boat that's just like a huge stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I went in there, I
the
turned my
previous
camera to the
school.
right. Bahamut!
Yeah. No one.
Bahamut's head is there.
It's funny. You go into the city. No one's saying anything. They're like, whatever. This huge, crazy Garlean boat's up in the sky.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, whatever. It's just part of daily life here. All right.
Garleans, man.
They crushed one of my longest standing theories with that boat.
Oh, yeah?
What was that?
Yeah. So for the longest time, every single pure-blooded Garlean we had seen had blonde hair. And there's one with brown hair.
Alma?
Aw.
No, there's like a girl.
Yeah, Alma.
No, not her. She has red hair.
Does she?
But yeah, she has red hair.
Okay.
But she also is one. But no, there's like some other like just random dancer girl.
Oh,
who has a
okay.
third eye. But
Gotcha.
like she has brown hair, and I was like, what? What
So
brown hair?
I had a question story related. So I know the first two bosses are they from 12?
Actually, I didn't recognize any of the
Those are-
bosses, to be honest with you.
Mateus
Well,
and
that's what I
Hashmar
wa-
from 12, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Right. So, and you guys played Tactics.
I played
So
Tactics, but I
are
didn't play 12. Yeah.
3 and 4, those are new boss designs, right?
Three
Pretty
is.
sure.
3 is new.
4 is not new? That's what I was
No.
wondering.
No.
Okay. Because 4 kind of looked like, because I know the Shin Megami Tensei guy designed 3, and 4 also looked like a Shin Megami Tensei kind of guy. But
Yeah,
I
three
guess
is
you-
the one who was designed by that guy. He's a like new boss,
yeah,
a guest boss, as it is.
the chariot, which is also a horse and has a
It's a
face
wheelchair.
and a face and a guy.
The
A
wheelchair.
Wheelchair.
Wheelchair
wheels.
guy.
Wheelchair
Yeah.
horse.
Wheel chariot.
Right.
Wheelchair.
It's Shin Megami.
But yeah, no, I think I was pretty happy I went through and I did it, even though it did take a little while to get through it all. And
That's the fun of Patch Day 24 mans.
yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely is. I mean, you only get it every 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas. You get like a few Christmases a year. 24 man patch days.
Just to see people
Any
like
patch day.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, each patch day. So how many patches do we get a year? Like 4?
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Four Christmases a year.
4 major patch days. Yeah, yeah.
I get more excited for patch days than anything else in my life.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, yes,
They're
patch
very
day.
exciting.
As
Dude,
long
Go
as
to
you're
bed
not
early, wake up early.
Yeah.
as long as you're not excited about getting houses, you're okay.
No, don't.
So main story quest. We won't go too much into detail about it because Drac, I don't think that you want too much
No
spoil
spoil.
for.
I haven't,
Spoodles.
yeah, I haven't finished it yet.
Okay, but
You did the dungeon, right?
I did the dungeon. I did
Okay.
the dungeon. That was
Talk
fun.
about that too.
I
Turning
don't
into
remember
dust
I did the dungeon, but I remember some things. I remember the last boss. Yeah, I think that's it.
I did it 25 times on day 1.
Jesus.
Were you farming for
Tank coat.
gear?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good coat.
25 runs.
Wow.
It was insane.
I think that's a good idea though. How they did the loot for it because they made
I think
it
it's a
more
bad
playable.
idea.
They made it more people would play it more often.
So that's the other design choice. You know how they did the one dungeon instead of 2. Was it a good enough dungeon for it to be only 1? I think it was.
Well,
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
I'll reserve judgment for the next major patch because I think that's what they said. They're only doing 1 dungeon so they can add more to the next stuff.
Right.
Or they can do
Yeah.
more. So we'll see if the next thing is worth it because it's a dungeon to me. Like it was
Like
so
for-
fun. I had a good time.
The stuff we get in 4.15, you mean?
4.2.
4.2.
Oh.
New
Yeah.
dungeon.
Oh, okay. Oh, you meant that. Okay. I thought you meant because the reason why they did only 1 is to fit all the stuff that they are doing in 4.1 and 4.15.
I think from what I understand, it was we're going to take some content away to reallocate the resources elsewhere.
To the next,
basically.
Oh, okay,
I think that's the next major one.
Okay.
But I mean, just overall, if we get enough content to, because I mean, it's just one. Only doing 1 dungeon just means we're going to get sick of it faster in expert roulette.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. But the expert roulette is 4 now, so that is nice.
It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say this just real quick, and this is something I've noticed with the story stuff that they've been doing, is that most of the stories that they put out are all world building story elements. They're not. I don't feel like there's lots of really good in-depth story. Like I'm trying to give you a good example for it. Like if I watch something, I kind of want to be developed in that little story there, and the characters going on, and how they're interacting, and everything
You
else.
mean like character development and not world development?
Not just character development. Like I want like just things happening, right? I feel like it's just a lot of talking most of the time. And like I don't know, I don't have a lot of enjoyment out of that, and I feel like that's starting to get kind of slow for me. I wish there was more just like action. Does that make sense? Stuff that just gets me more involved into it.
Yeah, I can understand.
For example, have you guys ever seen that movie Grindhouse?
No.
It has the 2 movies. No? All right. Well, there's a movie where part of the movie is 45 minutes of 4 people sitting at a dining room table and just talking. Just shooting shit for 45 minutes. And then like 15 minutes is like the interesting part of the whole movie. But it was supposed to build it up so much that you cared more about that 15 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about... I feel like there's too much build up and everything.
See, before the patch came out, I wasn't too excited about the story stuff because from the trailer, it looked like it was going to be a lot of politics stuff, and I didn't really care about that kind of stuff. But doing it, I did enjoy this story, so I enjoyed it, but it wasn't a highlight of like other patch stories.
I'll do a whole separate show on the story here, but I have an unpopular opinion that I felt like the story was meh.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I was unsatisfied, is what I gotta say.
No, I can understand why you were unsatisfied. I liked it because there was a feels thing, but then that was it. But you didn't have the feels.
What
thing.
feels?
So,
like I can't even think of a part.
No spoil. I don't want
No spoilers for Jack.
It's hard to talk
Thank you.
about it.
I'm sorry, guys.
Look, go in Discord.
No, it's okay.
Go in Discord and message me directly and tell me what the one feel part was, because I
Okay.
feel like I just can't relate. Like I can't
If
think.
somebody cries, I cry.
Oh, I think I
easy.
understand.
I'm easy.
I just don't care. I was like, oh yeah, this was gonna happen. Never mind. Sorry,
From the
Drac.
chat,
No.
heartless.
But that being said, we'll move away from that whole story part. We'll get into some of these other little things that I feel like I didn't touch really, but I feel like maybe you guys have seen. Did any of you guys like? Are you bards? Do you play music? Did they?
It hasn't out yet.
It's not out
They didn't
yet.
release that.
No,
Yeah.
it's not out yet.
They said they were gonna release that.
4.15.
Yeah,
Well, screw it. I don't care then. Screw it.
Yeah.
Bard
Yeah.
music. Are you guys unhappy that they didn't release that, or do you care?
No, it's okay.
It'll come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It'll come when it
it's
does.
not pivotal enough.
it's
No.
it's a direct buff to Bard. But you know,
Direct buff, cosmetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have plans for that? Are you going to be doing covers? Are you going to get
Oh,
people
yeah.
together and do covers?
Yeah, I'll,
Absolutely.
you'll be in raid group. You'll be sitting there and be like, about to probably be like, anyways, here's Wonderwall.
yeah.
Just waiting for our bard Raya. So it'll be like between polls, I can just imagine him like playing songs. Raya, shut up! We're trying to talk.
Yeah, because you know that's actually what's going to happen is most people are going to be musically inclined to play it. So between pills, you're just going to hear.
No one's
It's gonna be
bring
the new
bards.
Lalafell at the market board.
Yeah.
No more bards. Bards out of the meta.
God.
Bards are gone.
Too annoying.
Okay.
Go back to 3.0 when they were playing the skin flute.
So the reason why it was 4.15 is because of what they say jitters, for client side to server side. So we'll get it. We'll get it when we get it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
What about treasure hunts?
Have not touched it.
I haven't got into it.
I haven't touched it, but I heard that it was like the new one, just it looks the same as the one that we have, the Uznare, however you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks the same, it just has the third door. That's it.
It's got a third door, just like a third twin.
Yeah, exactly.
Got him.
You guys are just my sons, all right? That's
Okay.
it. You're just
Hot and
my
frosty.
kids. You kind of look like me a little bit.
You look like Muggles.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, maybe. Man, I'm never taking that hat off. I can't.
Yeah,
It's part of the identity now. It's just there. Like, what
that's
do I
your
do?
warrior of light. You are a Muggle.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be just like you taking off your glasses, Merri.
Yeah, and I turn into not Merri.
And I have my summoner. I have my summoner dong, except when I don't play summoner and I'm on Dragoon.
Is that really the correct way to say that? Dong?
Yeah.
I thought it was like Spike or something.
No,
It's a horn.
summoner dong.
It's hilarious.
Okay. Okay. It takes me a while to like differentiate that.
Yeah,
There's
it's
horns.
not
You have to
actually
know
a
this.
dog.
Like, yeah, it's
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so
It's a bad dragon. Thank you very much.
it's a
Oh God. Okay. Oh no.
Let's not. Okay, let's.
Did you guys do any of the Beast Tribe stuff?
I started it.
I
Yes.
forgot
I
about
started
that.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the premise is pretty cool.
Does it involve crafting? Is it like a
No, I think
No,
it's battle.
no crafting.
Battle?
That's
Okay.
my first question.
Yeah.
Is there a can I do this?
Can I level up
But
my
it makes
crafters
sense.
with this?
It would have made
No,
sense.
no,
to
no,
do
not
that,
level
but
crafting.
The XP is good for your battle classes.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna. I enjoy a new way to level up my DPS while I'm waiting for that
What
raid
are
or
the,
that dungeon queue.
What are a daily quest like?
I haven't done the quest.
There's a mix of some combat, some fetch quest stuff, like go pick up items out in the ocean stuff.
Under the sea.
Last time I talked
Ride
to
a mount.
Yoshi,
Dusty.
last time I talked to Yoshi, I was like, dude, you need to like make quest fun. Kind of
You
like
get
kind of like you do with the mount stuff, right? That
Yeah, you
that's-
get to ride
yeah.
a manta ray and suck stuff up with it.
Okay, but that needs to be
Okay.
all it is. No battle stuff. I don't want to go collect 5 things and kill 5 things real quick. I want to just blow stuff up with like a siege weapon or something. I don't know.
You get to ride around and suck up
Well,
krill.
the FPS stuff, the FPS thing that they added, they've been using that more.
Yeah, the
Some
scope.
stuff with that.
Now, the only part that I used with it recently was just like, look at it. I didn't get to shoot anything.
Yeah, just look at it.
So I'm a little bit upset about that. But
Yeah.
That's all right.
I was trying to shoot, but yeah. Also, there's like a new armor set that you get from it, right? The Kojin.
Do you get a turtle
Like a
armor
ninja-
set?
You get Ninja Turtle gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you get a turtle shell?
I think so.
Oh, I got to do it.
I might be changing my priorities a little bit.
Yeah, got to do that then.
You get an
That's
emote
important.
too.
What's the emote like?
You know the one where they kind of he does it when he's giving you the blessing in the MSQ, the turtle, like he does a little prayer thing and like
Is that
swings
where he
his
goes,
hands
like,
in
back
front of
and
him.
forth?
Yeah,
Oh,
you get that. You get that.
What does he
emote.
do? I literally don't remember
They
that.
do this thing. They just go
Yeah.
back and forth. That's
Yeah, you get that
that's a little
emote.
prayer.
Is it persistent?
Let's all just
Yeah.
do this real quick.
No one has it yet. We just know because there's a emote called ritual prayer, and no one's figured out how to get it. And it's pretty much that's probably gonna be it.
Okay.
I
All right.
just stand there all day doing this.
Yeah.
Just milking some cows, man.
Well, that's what I do. Is I do the squats now. I just AFKing in squats.
Yeah.
So.
So, on the subject of emotes, I felt like the first emote you got from the main story quest was a little bit random, but it was a really
out
good
of place.
one.
It's cool,
Yeah.
but completely
Yeah,
out of
just out of
place.
nowhere. I thought that it
It's
would
like-
play more into the story.
Like, yeah,
Just-
like,
it was just
here.
a way to like give it to you.
We didn't box at all, but here.
Yeah.
yeah. It's so weird. Like, just like, all right, haha, now it's cool, right? You have to do the
Warrior
story.
of Light.
Yeah, like they could have done a little thing where it's just like, hey, let's box.
Yeah.
Warrior of Light. What are you doing? I don't know. I had the urge.
I feel like this has
let's
taught
keep
me
my heart rate
how
up.
to do this. Our experience together made me want to punch something, right?
I've been sitting here for 3 months. I gotta fight something. Let's go.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So, that being said, I don't know about too many of the PvE changes, except for that the Dragoon list was very, very long.
It was funny. What that they had such a weird workaround.
Yeah.
So strange.
So, Larry, tell me your thoughts on some of the changes they did.
Well,
Since
I
you're a
play.
Dragoon main now.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
your
I'm a Dragoon man.
Yeah.
So I play a lot of both Summoner and Dragoon. So Summoner is my love, and I raid on Dragoon now. So I have some experience with both. But so the Dragoon thing, what they wanted to do for some reason was make it not hurt you so hard if you miss heavy thrust for like a few GCDs. Because I guess sometimes like you have a 5-part combo and let's say you're 3 in and your heavy thrust is going to fall off, so you only have 2 more to go. They wanted, I guess, to make that not hurt you so much. So the way they did that was lower heavy thrust potency and boost every other skill in the game by like 10 or 20 on some of them.
Oh my god.
Very strange, but okay. So that's just like a side. It didn't really hurt or buff too much. It's about the same. The Life of the Dragon thing, though, with 3 eyeballs instead of 4, is a big difference and makes it feel strange also. So it's a buff. Dragoon does more damage now. It's a buff. But it feels cool to be able to go into Life of the Dragon so much and to be able to use your Nastrons all the time. It feels really cool. But then it also messes up your blood for blood timer. And I wish it didn't do that. Because like you used to, like, it's nice when your cooldowns line up to the different phases of your DPS. You know, you want to line up your cooldowns. Now Life of the Dragon doesn't line up with blood for blood, so it feels weird.
Maybe that was just a miscalculation there. Because, I mean, when they're building these classes and jobs and everything before the expansion hit, they take these factors into consideration.
Yeah.
They have jobs where your cooldowns line up, and they have an ideal rotation for it. Although there might be a better one to do it, like if you do it here instead of there, that the developer didn't realize. But, yeah, when it doesn't line up, it makes you feel bad.
Yeah, I think like the reason why they did it is because it's easier to get into Life of the Dragon now. If you die, you get more Life of the Dragon, so you do more damage. But then they also didn't take into account that blood for blood doesn't line up with it. I would almost prefer them to lower the damage of blood for blood and make it a shorter cooldown just so I can line it up and feel better about it. But yeah.
But then they would have to do that for
Dragoon.
a lot of people. Was blood for blood one of the cross classes?
Nope.
No,
Only
they took that away.
Dragoon.
Okay.
Yeah, only Dragoon.
It's on my bar, but I can't use
Is it as if the line through it?
You left it
No,
on your
yeah,
bar?
it's still there,
Oh, really?
but it's like grayed out. So
So it's a
remember.
reminder.
Yeah, I just sit there. I'm like,
I have
I miss you, blood.
I do that on my machinist too. Like I have a whole bunch of these like abilities that I can never use or touch again, but no one else can have them. They're mine now.
I got foresight.
Yeah.
Foresight.
Oh yeah, Merri, you play War now, right? Like
Yeah,
mostly
I
War.
do.
What
I do.
about
Shake it
the
off?
Shake It Off is freaking awesome, right?
It's amazing. It's so good.
It makes O4S ridiculously
Yeah.
easy for healing now.
Yeah, we did our O4S yesterday, and it's just like, oh my guess, what's that?
Yeah.
Shake it off.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I took like 0 damage from all of them. It was great for
and
the first hit.
now, does that make Paladin Warrior like the best prog combo right now?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Dark Knight.
Yeah,
can
Warrior's
fuck
like
right off.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Dark Knight is gone. It's the new gravestone. Don't worry, Paladin will come back around. And we'll get killed soon. I'm sure.
We also run Paladin War. Like we would do that regardless, but the buff to Warrior is definitely very welcome for Prague. Because
Yeah, it's great. I've been a Warrior main since honestly basically 1.0. So
yeah,
it's nice to finally be back on it and like feel useful.
Yeah.
Because I was playing Paladin otherwise.
Yeah.
But it's like now I'm a Warrior and it's great.
Did you shit talk Paladin the entire time you were playing it?
Honestly, Paladin it feels great. It's fun. I really don't like casting though. I don't like Holy Spirit.
So
I hate that window.
I like the holy. I love that window.
I kind
don't.
of hate that too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It feels weird. You're just like, I press
Yeah.
this and just spam one button while
I'm
I'm
Yep, just
casting.
gonna cast over and
I'm a
over.
caster now.
All my
I'm a
activity's
turret.
gone. I'm just
You
sitting
can
here
slide
shooting.
cast,
yeah.
but
Yeah, slide casting. Yeah, I don't.
You
That's
can
not
only
why I
use so
play a
much.
Paladin.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not why you play it.
I
It's
don't
true.
Yeah.
play to stay stable and just stay in one little spot. I like dancing around and being an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. Fucking black.
So
mage.
Paladin, like Paladin's really cool because you get that whole aspect of like, you know, all those other things of protecting your raid along with your cooldowns. So Warrior getting something like that too is really cool.
Yeah.
Now, Dark Knight kind of fell behind on that, but Dark Knight's a lot of like I just played Dark Knight in dungeons and I have.
They had a whole
Dark Knight.
expansion. Screw them.
I like
They're
Dark
done.
Knight, but for raid wise, like meta wise, it's definitely Paladin Warrior.
Yeah.
right now.
SEs, they're not so good at tank balance.
No, they're not.
You know?
Well, it's all right. So right now, I do feel like SE is responding pretty well to what the community is saying about a lot of these changes. Although we are going to have hiccups here and there.
Well, the summoner ones, I actually don't think they
Really?
fixed anything. Yeah. So the summoner changes are buffs.
Mhm.
It's a big buff. Like summoner does probably more damage than
The
Black Mage.
Bahamut reduction, right?
What?
The size
No. Oh no! Shut up! I leave him on full size. I leave him large, but he's a big summon. But the buffs to summoner are bigger. You actually can do more damage than Black Mage now, which is not so good for Black Mage. But it didn't fix the things that were broken too much. The thing that's the Ruin changes are fun. It makes Ruin much more fun, I think, because you got instead of just Ruin 3 spam and then you automatically will Ruin 4 if you get it. You have to keep track of when you get a Ruin 4 now and switch over and use that. So that's fun. That's cool. So I do like the Ruin changes a lot, and the Tribind in AoE feels weird to do, but it's also really cool. It's a nice damage boost. But they didn't fix the whole Bahamut following you and being like on top of you all the time, and also missing worm waves. Hi, baby.
She was going to make an appearance. We know.
So what happens with Bahamut worm waves? If you use OGCDs too fast, Bahamut will forget that he's supposed to do another worm wave. So for instance, if you do Ruin 2 Fester Virus really fast, Ruin 2 Fester Virus, that's 3 actions, right? So Bahamut should do 3 worm waves. He'll do 2 and forget the 3rd one because there's a delay, and they should make it so that no matter how many buttons you push in how many amount of time, he should count all of them and do them eventually. But they didn't fix that.
All right, Square Enix fucked up.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
They could fix that.
Come on.
The other changes are buffs, and they're good.
Yeah. I will say, I don't think. Do any of you guys do any PvP?
Not really.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I do.
I'm looking forward to.
Well, the tournament that they're doing, right? The kind of.
Oh.
Do you know light party tournament thing that they're going to do soon?
No.
Where they're going to pretty much have it to where you can register a team of 4 people.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I know that.
And then that's actually pretty interesting. They're doing that, but it's also more interesting that they are constantly making changes to PvP, and they're not just leaving it off in the corner. So
I'm of two minds on that. Changes are nice, but these changes
I don't
are questionable.
know. The changes were okay. I think that they weren't bad. They fixed some things. They removed deorbit, which Larry Drac deorbit's just the healer pool.
Wait, what's deorbit?
So basically, you know how you could pull somebody?
Rescue?
Yeah, Rescue. It's Rescue, but only Astros had it.
Right,
and it made no use. There's no use for it in PvP at all. You just mess people up. You mess your own team up.
Yeah.
I got saved when I was running with Larry once. I was about to die, and then the person's like, "No, come back!" and they dragged me out of the.
In 24 mans, it's good.
Oh yeah.
In 24, but in Feast.
4v4. I haven't experienced it there. No.
Yeah. But it was like supposed to be a highlight for Astro, but it did nothing.
Yeah.
And so they just removed it. They're like, yeah, there's no point. And they made a lot of fixes to that job. And I feel like it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they do. I won't stick too much on PvP just because we'll have a whole show dedicated at some point.
They pulled the fangs out of Warrior.
Didn't they give them? They gave them some reduction, some damage reduction.
They gave them Thrill of Battle for the entire group, basically, so 10% HP, and they got rid of their most important DPS cooldown.
But Thrill of Battle for like a group damage reduction is way better than I think Cover, and I think the Blackest Night, just because people switch targets. Cover doesn't matter if they just switch targets.
Yeah, but it's only 10% HP. That's like a hit.
But it's better than nothing, which is what you get from Cover after it's done. It's just right there.
But they got rid of our most important DPS cooldown to give it to us.
They were too strong. Problem. It was impossible. It was if you had a coordinated group with a warrior in there, they would kill everyone. You would never have a chance.
Warrior was really. I did Feast up to gold. I stopped at gold, I think. But the tank that gave me the most trouble was always Paladin. I was healer.
Paladin's still weak.
Oh really?
Yeah, they used to be really good, but they're getting kind of weak now. But we won't stick on that. Drac and Larry are what the fuck are you guys?
yeah.
That's all right. I could have a whole 2-hour show on this.
Well, I played 24 mans more than Feast. I tried Feast for a little bit because I really wanted that armor, the 100 rank armor. I was like, I could probably get that, and I did a lot of games, and I'm just like, this takes forever.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you guys, Larry, Drac? Are you guys looking forward to MOBA Final Fantasy 14?
I don't think it's going to be MOBA. I really don't. I know that people are saying that.
It'll have elements, but it won't be like
but so did Guild Wars 2, and that wasn't MOBA at all. They had Siege elements as well. And I've been wanting something like that. My biggest thing that I'm happy about is that they got rid of 3-team Battle Royale. That was such stupid bullshit
one
from the very first time. Frontlines. You get into Frontlines, and people would know this Grand Company is best right now. This Grand Company is just on top. Yeah. So what would people do? Gangbang the one that's on top. So everybody left that Grand Company. And so there was no, it was so stupid.
Yeah.
It was always it wasn't 1v1v1. It was 2v1. And it didn't matter who was winning. It was, we're just going to fuck these people into the ground.
And then a shit ton of RNG.
Yeah, it was 3. It was horrible. So I'm really glad they finally got rid of that element. That we're just going to have one team versus one team as God intended.
As God intended
when He created video games.
One versus one team.
So so I'm really looking forward to that. I think that giving that's the right way to do a PvE element in PvP, because Shatter just it's PvE. Mm-hmm. You're not fighting each other. You're fighting
ice
elements. So it's I was so angry when they came out with that. But then they added experience to it.
Seas.
So I'm like, Seas was good. Seas, because it was more like King of the Hill style thing. So that made sense. But yeah, Shatter, I was like, I don't want to play this. And they're like,
Shatter's,
oh, you get experience.
Shatter's PvE. That's all it is.
Yeah.
With a side of
like,
PvE.
all right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to see what they do. I'm reserving judgment too much until I see exactly what they do, but I'm happy with the direction. So I'm looking forward to it. That's one of the things I'm excited about.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to some questions now. We only got like 15 minutes left, so we're going to run through these questions. We only have a few questions in here, and if you guys want to ask questions, it's your last chance. And then you're not gonna have another chance. We're never having these guys on the show again. You'll never be able to talk to them again. They're never streaming again. You'll never be able to ever.
I'm unsubscribing after this show. This is my last one ever.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So here we go. This is when we were talking kind of about Shin Ryu. This is from Irish Rager. In difficulty, how do you think it compares to previous primals?
I would say it's kind of like middle ground compared to like everything when it was new.
I'd put him maybe a little bit ahead of Sephiroth when he came out.
Okay. So kind of difficult, but not like impossible.
Not
the hardest.
Not at all.
What's the hardest one? Thordan.
Besides
Thordan.
Ramuh was pretty rough, man.
Ramuh was, but Ramuh was just the like our issue was like the chain lightning. So there was that one mechanic. It wasn't like a consistent. You're having to keep up with things, in my opinion, for Ramuh. Whereas Shinryu is the steady pace of pay attention, just keep going, know the pattern, know your. And
Ramuh was team jump rope.
We could go in to Shinryu and then not clear it blind in 45 minutes. I'm happy about that because Lakshmi, Sophia, Susano, very easy fights. Which for the position in the patch is acceptable, like in the whole progression of things. So if fights like Shinryu, like as we keep going on the new primal fights, continue that pace of a little bit more, I think it's setting a good precedent for what we can expect. And anybody who's naysaying in the chat, you're just a healer, you need to adjust.
Get your shit
to adjust.
Just heal more.
Oh, okay. All right, let's see. This next question here. Actually, this is about 4.1 Summoner, which we already answered, so I'm going to skip past that. Sorry, Amoni. But he already answered it for you without you asking.
I did.
This is from Warhum. Do you guys think there's a future for Machinist in upcoming patches? Of course. Machinist.
Yeah.
Isn't it supposed to be Dragoon, Ninja, Bard, Machinist still, or did that change with 4.1?
The meta is Heaven's Word meta, except Paladin and Warrior now.
Yeah.
So Machinist is in the meta right now, so there's definitely a future. They're doing great.
Yeah, they're good.
Hopefully,
if you only had a choice between a Bard and a Machinist, though, I think I would pick a Bard. But I don't know too much about Machinists. So.
Machinist is pretty. They hit pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
This is for Very Merry. What do you think is the hardest fight in Stormblood teamwork wise? And this is
teamwork
from Harp,
wise,
apparently.
Okay. Teamwork wise, that's a tough one to answer because most of the fights are pretty brain dead, I guess. I'm trying to think of the best way to word this and not sound like an elitist prick. 1 and 2 are obviously just like whatever. It's just brain dead fight. 3 isn't really particularly difficult. I feel like there's a lot of things that can go wrong, but I feel like it's not so much teamwork as it is just people just don't kill other people. Just stand where you're supposed to stand. I guess my answer would have to be 4. And not so much the whole static, but my co-tank. So we don't do like a whole lot of speed kills or like parse runs or anything like that. Like we clear our weekly and then we're basically done because we only raid on the weekends. And so I've probably only cleared O4S a total of I think 8 times now. And so like I haven't been in there a ton, and I've been swapping around on tanks, and like my first kill was on samurai, and then I was paladin, now I'm warrior. And so like the hardest part of O4S for me is just like trying to synergize properly, and like with my co-tank, and like sometimes I'll forget to get aggro after a reset, and it's like, oh shit, and then there's someone dies from like an arrow 3 or whatever. So I'd say the hardest thing for me, you know, of all the fights is synergizing with my co-tank, because sometimes I forget to get aggro.
I'm glad that they have that in there a lot more now, because that's how tanks should be. You just synergize between the tanks, and I feel like they're kind of forcing it.
We don't have a ninja, just take swap. So no ninja. It was a little rough for threat.
Oh, I haven't ran with a ninja for a long time, man. It's tough. I shield up all the way, man, for those resets.
Yeah.
It hurts. Okay, so this is a question from Frosty's biggest fan, if that's his name, for me. Will you do ultimate coils with me? Will you pug them with me? Yeah! Only with my biggest fan, though. I would never do it with anyone else.
The biggest fan.
Yeah.
Frosty's biggest fan. You have O4S down.
Yeah.
Frosty fan ultimate.
Yeah. We gotta do that to do Bahamut.
Yeah, you gotta get that down, dude. Irish Rager. Here we go. Another question for everybody here. Square is expecting World First groups to finish Ultimate in 2 days, and if they don't, they will do some adjustments. Do you think that they will do this?
I don't think they should nerf anything in the first 2 days.
No.
Unless something's broken.
Where's this from? I don't know. This.
Yeah, I don't remember where that's at. I would love a link for that.
Yeah.
I do recall them saying something like that. I do recall them saying like they expect it to be in the first like 2 or 3 days, and if not, they will look into adjusting things. But if they do, I hope what they mean by that is if something's broken.
Yeah. Like if they can't clear it because something is just like not working.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that shows how difficult it is, because maybe they mean like, you know, maybe this mechanic won't always function correctly.
Yeah, maybe we just got through because we just happened to.
Yeah, because there's like some random stuff they said. So
yeah.
All right. Aki here. Ask everyone, how do you feel about the new gold saucer minion, aka the moist mount?
Oh, I love that mount.
I bought it and it's just sitting in my book, and I'm never going to use it again.
The mount or the minion?
The mount.
There's only a mount, right?
Yeah, the mount.
I use that mount as my main mount. It's the best mount.
I have my snack boy.
And you guys asking questions in the chat, by the way, I'm ignoring them. I need this document. And Goka, I have no clue what you're talking about, so I don't know if anyone knows. It sounds like you have a salty thing going on with Heal Me Harry.
That's not something we can answer.
I don't have Harry here,
you
man.
have to bring that up with Harry. He's
Come
a
on,
nice
dude.
guy. Bring it up with them.
Okay, so Sophia, that's how I say it. Sorry, dude. Initially, he said 2 to 3 days, then he rescinded to say that he's not sure anyone would clear, probably overhyping it, but he'll doubt he'll get changes early. It shouldn't get changes early, because I think he said for people not to complain if they can't clear it. Wasn't that his comment?
He said it's gonna Terry a new one, so shut the fuck up.
Ike Takeda, Dark Knight ? Feels bad, man. Yeah. I think we could just kind of just give you the reaction here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Poor Dark
up.
Knight.
I mean, Dark Knight's
I feel
fun.
so bad. Fucking elitist, get out of here.
Dark Knight is okay. Is it in the meta? No, but that's just kind of how it goes, you know.
Yeah, and meta talk is always just like what's optimal.
Yeah. It's the meta is always going to be a set class. That's why it's the meta.
Yeah. I think people are just kind of upset because Dark Knight took more work than the other tanks to perform properly and got results for that.
I disagree. Now Dark Knight is definitely the easiest of all the tanks to play. It's like its DPS is so like consistent across the board, whereas both Paladin and Warrior have these very specific DPS windows, and if you miss them due to mechanics, your DPS just plummets.
Yeah,
and so it's really unforgiving. Where Dark Knight's DPS is just like flat throughout, so you don't really have those moments where like your DPS just drops because mechanics, like because you're always consistent.
You miss like a Dark Arts, like okay, whatever.
Yeah. Whereas you miss a single fell cleave in your Unchained, and you're like, well, there goes my DPS.
Yeah.
All right, this is the last question I'm going to ask here. This is for everyone from Adala Archer. Do you think the 4.1 class changes made the meta even more meta? I've heard from some different raiders that the ideal comp is even more set in stone now because of the class changes.
Sorry,
A little bit.
That was a big
What
one.
was that?
I heard a bomb.
She
Yeah.
pushed in my.
Sound like almost an Inception
You
sound.
ruined it.
What happened? No. The meta, I guess. I don't know. Do you feel like it changed, Larry? Or is it the exact
No,
same, even more?
I agree that it was the set in stone thing.
Okay.
The Dragoon got buffed. Dragoon's in the meta, so Dragoon got buffed. Ninja didn't have changes, right?
They changed Doton, I think, right?
They
fixed it?
they like
Yeah,
fix
they
things.
fixed
Yeah,
it.
it wasn't like buffs.
Yeah,
but
no.
Ninja's always going to be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a problem. That's a huge problem.
It's a problem that Ninja's always going to be good. Yeah.
Ninja's always in the meta 100% of the time because of trick
Yeah.
attack. They need to like just drop it by 5%.
Yeah, kill its DPS by 50%.
Yeah.
If they drop trick attack by 5%,
Maybe.
I feel like
Yeah, that would make it more even with other things. Yeah.
because they have so much utility and trick attack, and it's just like.
But then they don't get high numbers. No one will play it if they don't get higher numbers, right?
Yeah. They need a buff Samurai's damage.
Poor Samurai.
They need a buff
I had high
Samurai.
hopes. I had high hopes for it working, but it just nope, they couldn't pull it off.
If they're gonna buff Samurai's damage, they need to give us more enmity
Yeah.
mitigation.
Yeah,
Because
they
holy
do.
shit.
yeah.
Oh man.
I feel like
it's-
more jobs should have enmity throw arounds
Drops.
too. Yeah, some
The
way to
version
like
should
help
do
out the
more.
tanks.
and be
Dragoon could
on
just
less of a cooldown,
backflip.
in my opinion. Yeah, or
Should have
like
the
the
backstep for
backstep
Samurai.
should
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
because I don't know why not, but
Wait, the backstep doesn't have?
nothing.
It should. The
Yeah.
Dragoons does.
Yeah, exactly. So
Go
it's like-
figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah, they're buffing Dragoon. Ninja's fucking awesome. They gotta. The whole reason to play Samurai is that you don't need this utility. It's just fucking awesome.
Mhm.
Monk's okay, thankfully. Monk's in an okay
yeah,
spot.
Monk too.
Nah.
Buff Samurai.
Samurai needs help though.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're kind of up the closing point here. You guys are about to go raiding. I'm about to go to a taco fest. We're going to have fun.
Taco Fest.
Yeah, we'll eat tacos, dude. So, oh, nice.
Fest?
Yeah.
Exciting.
I mean, it's going to be, to let you guys know what Taco Fest means, it means Taco Festival.
Uh-huh.
So they have lots of tacos there, and they celebrate eating tacos.
Where?
Moving closer to there is one of the reasons why I'm excited, because I love the Hispanic food
Oh, yeah.
festivals that they do. There's
That's
a
Can't
tamale
wait
festival.
to move there. Get
Ooh.
chocolate.
Oh, it's gonna be
We're going to have to, like, go out and have bubble tea or something. Boba tea.
Oh yeah,
Bubble tea.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
over the place here.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Sorry, Merri, you're out on your own.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do the closing bits here. I'd want to make sure that you all do your shout outs. Tell people where they can find you. Tell people how they can watch your stream, how they can do everything to see you and be a part of what you do. Larry, you're going to start us off.
Okay. My name's Larryzaur on everything. It's just Larryzaur on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and other places.
You're one
That's
of the
where
lucky
I am.
ones who got like the YouTube handle the same as everything else you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to do that. I worked hard to figure out a name that would work.
Yeah. All right, you guys, please follow Larry if you haven't already. Check out what he does. Check out his content. He's an awesome guy. Mary's okay.
Yeah.
Mary,
Oh, God.
Yeah.
can you kind of tell people? I mean, I guess you don't have to. It doesn't really matter if they do or not, right?
Yeah. You can find me at twitch.tv/very_Merri Monday through Friday. I also do YouTube videos, and I'm okay with talking about this a little bit, but I'm working on kind of a big project. Hopefully I'll have some actual content on my YouTube for once. That's not just memes. So please look forward to it. But yeah, my YouTube's Very Merri, Twitter Very Merri. Just Google Very Merry Final
Very
Fantasy 14.
merry.
You'll find me.
Very, very merry.
Yeah,
Very
I'm just
merry.
messing with Merri. I actually get that privilege because I'm on the same team with him. I don't advertise it a lot, but I'm on the dream team here with Merri.
Yeah.
And I also have Merri's hosted MogTalk once in the past.
That was fun.
Yeah, he's
Really?
a good guy.
I didn't
Yeah,
know about
Yeah.
yeah. About like over a year ago, he did it, and I was like, never again.
That's why it's never happened.
But no, he's awesome. He's a wonderful guy. You guys, please check him out. Next, of course, Mr. Drak here. Drak, tell everybody who you are, dude.
So yeah, I'm actually going to be streaming here for our raid group. I do YouTube videos of our blind runs, and as we try and go through the raid fights with as little knowledge as possible for the most part, and then we just have our reactions and have fun that way. So I will be live at twitch.tv/Drakanous actually now, and then once I take care of some IRL stuff, we'll be hitting the O4S Prague. So if you guys are interested in that and haven't checked this out, then I welcome you to do that. It would be really fun to have some new people in there. But other than that, my
Watch him
YouTube
die
is
over and over again.
Drakanstein
Yeah.
on YouTube. So yeah, if you're into silly videos, well, you want something else, we're there too.
Okay. Excellent. Guys, please follow all three people here. Check their YouTubes out. They're wonderful
Follow them
content
more.
creators. Follow them even more. If you've already followed them, unfollow them, follow them again. Just make sure it's in stone there. And so how soon are you going to start your stream up? Like right after this one ends?
Yeah.
All right, then I'll throw a host over your way then.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I never get to host guest. I love it. Guys, thank you for being part of the show. You're all absolutely amazing. It was a pleasure to have you here again to talk with all this stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But I also want to make sure I thank everybody here watching the show. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you very much, everyone, for your questions. Thank you, Carrara, my emotional support in the background who you don't see. Thank you very much to any of the mods that are out there who did not have to moderate anything because the chat was wonderfully tame for the most part. Thank you.
Good chat.
Yeah, good chat. Good.
Good.
You know, I have a dog. I can relate. Sorry, guys.
Shit.
It's an inside joke at this point.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you very much, Andre Kane, for letting me use your music for the intro and the closing of the show. Thank you, Blizzana, for doing the artwork here. Next week, MogTalk. I haven't quite decided on the topic, but I am fairly confident we will be having it. We had no drops in the stream today. I think I can officially say my internet's fixed, and we are back to full steam ahead, guys. We've done it. We've done it.
My hands are up in the air.
Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, be good, keep cool, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.
What a closer. That's
Turn
great.
into a snowman.
It's beautiful.
I'm waving. I have to say what I'm doing because no one can see me.
Yeah.
Who's